Hey, I'm Grant. This is a simple little tutorial on how to add an image to your edit in Lightworks, and it should be pretty simple and straightforward. So one thing to note is this is done on version 14. I use the flexible layout. So if you use the fixed one, it may be a little bit different, but the process is basically the same. It's just going to affect maybe how you get to a window or such. And you can actually message me if you want a little bit of help with that. So I have two images here I would like to import to my project. I have a background image and a mask image. This is a PNG file because I want a transparency on this, but you can use pretty much anything that you could add in a photo editor. Go ahead and drag them into Lightworks, or if not, you want to use something else, let's say you can do it using the import option here. And then you'll notice right away that Lightworks treats image files as videos. Specifically, it uses them as a 1 minute long video clip. So it will use it the same way it would use any of those, and you can treat it the same. The catch here being that 1 minute long video is just the same image over and over. So it's really simple to drag it in here. I'm going to click my background image and I'm going to add it to my V3 image track. So already you can see it right away. I now have this white image. That's all that is, and you can see it in my edit. That's very basic. If you just want to add a image for a half second, like if you want to do some kind of like cut to whatever or black, you can do it that way. That's the majority of types of edits you're going to do with an image. I do, however, have a fancier image that might also be a little bit more relevant. Here we instead have this mask. So what this is just a nice little blend I went over and did in GIMP. And there is this black just rectangle here. And in actuality, if you saw over in my file manager, this isn't black, but rather this is transparent. That's why it's a PNG. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this over the background so you can see how to have just different transparencies as well as different lengths and sizes and how to scale them, rotate, do all the fancy stuff you might want to do with an image. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to cut this down significantly just so we have less area we need to worry about. And then I want to insert exactly 10 seconds of this image. So what I can do is, again, this works like a video clip, so I can actually just come in here, go to the 10-second mark, and then I'm going to mark it like so. And then I just want to go ahead and drag that in. And we now have a 10-second video of this image. So let's go ahead and put that right there. So it's not there, it is, and then it eventually goes away. Now, you'll notice I also said that that is transparent. But however, we still have the black square. And that's because by default, Lightworks doesn't do any kind of transparencies. You need a specific effect for that called the blend effect, which if we come in here, go under mix, blend, add that in, we can now see through our image. So now this is just like a little mask on top of it. So say if you're a streamer on like Twitch or something, this is what you could use to say add some kind of like stream art to something you're producing. So if you want like an overlay that's say like just a bottom third, you can make the top 2/3 transparent, lay it over, size it where you want, and then you'll have a nice little overlay to add other things into it. Okay. And the next thing is you might want to manipulate the image somehow. So say this mask you might notice is off center, and I might want to fix that. So the easiest way to do that or manipulate basically any effect you want is with a DVE or digital video effect. And there's two. There is the 2D DVE, there's a 3D DVE, but we're going to be using this 2D DVE because this is the majority of transformations we want. Chances are if you're doing something pretty simple, you probably will have something like this that might already be done. So take a look at those because those are really short, just to shorten your workflow. And any kind of like workflow shortening is super helpful in this. So I'm going to grab this 2D DVE and just drag it onto my layer. Close that. And then now here we see this is the settings for the DVE. And these will let you basically manipulate it any way you might want, like kind of like if you were in a very simple image editor, like a paint or something. So I can go ahead and I can scale it around. So I'm scaling. This is actually zooming in. It's not scaling just that rectangle. I can zoom it out and you'll see it'll scale down. I can go ahead and manipulate stuff like if I want an exact left-right position to center it, I can do that. I can also crop. So say if I want to cut part of it out to do some cool thing, maybe you like accidentally left something in, you want to get rid of that. You can do shadows, you can do opacity. Basically, this is going to contain the majority of stuff you want to do with your image. If you want to do something like rotate it, either way, like if from, let's say, clockwise, or if you want to rotate it into or out of the screen, that's going to be the 3D DVE. And you can basically find out how to do that pretty easily if you just pop a 3D DV on here. It just has this, but a couple more options. So we have our final thing here where we can show that it isn't there, comes in. Let's say if we want to do some kind of very simple animation, I wouldn't recommend like Lightworks for doing anything too crazy. But let's say I want to do something like this pans across the screen. Let's do that. That's probably a pretty nice, simple thing. I'm going to go ahead and go back to my settings effects. And what I want to do is I want this to go from left to right across the screen. So I'm going to tell it to start over here, right about there. That's where I want it to start. So I'm going to take its X position, basically its left-right position. Then I'm going to enable it. Or I will if I don't accidentally hit my shortcuts and jump around. So we enable this, and this makes basically a point where it says, I want at this frame this to be here. I can skip over here, go back one, so it's here, and then if I just drag it where I want it to end up like that, you very easily end up with like just nice, simple moving image. And this is as powerful as you want to make it. You can do a lot of stuff with this effect, but I don't recommend it for any crazy animations because there's better software out there for that. But if you just want rolling credits, go nuts with that. Or if you just want something that kind of like tracks to a shot, it's as good as the length of time you want to put into making it. Hopefully this tutorial helped you. My contact info is on screen for more help or other tutorial suggestions. A like or subscribe is a great way to help make more of these tutorials happen, and I hope to see you around the channel.